Hello, everybody. This is Jim Feist in Las Vegas, and I've got Hank Goldberg on the phone with me from sunny South Florida, I should say. Hank, good morning.
Morning to you.
We've got some football coming up this weekend. We've got some interesting situations, and I'm sure that you know the answers to these. Minnesota plays Green Bay on Saturday. If Minnesota wins or loses, they will win or lose that game. What effect does that have on the motivation for Philadelphia, who's the one team that's trying to get home field advantage in the number one seed?
Well, Philadelphia has the motivation to get the number one seed, but they also have to be careful with their regulars to keep them healthy for the postseason. So they're not going to take a lot of chances with them, and this is where you can get hurt laying too many points against a team that's capable of scoring against you in the late in the game. This is the danger the last couple of weeks of the season. So you don't want to give too many points to a team that's a threat to score. And that's the problem with Philadelphia. They could give up some points against against the team they're playing this week. So, yeah, Philadelphia has to keep winning, and so does Minnesota. Minnesota is now going to play against a Green Bay team that has, that's without Rodgers, and their defense is playing great, and they've been a tremendous investment at home. I think Minnesota is probably a better investment than Philadelphia is, because their defense is so superior.
Yeah, Philadelphia gave up an awful lot of yards and points last week to the New York Giants, a team that had trouble scoring. And the Philadelphia coaching staff and players are very upset. I've been reading a lot of the things that they've talked about. And they're very upset about how they played, and they're concerned that they didn't step up in that game. And they really needed to step up in that game because they had a backup quarterback starting his first game, and they didn't show up. The defense was absolutely horrendous, giving up that many points to the Giant team. They made Eli Manning look like he was 10, 15 years ago. They're very concerned about that. Oakland, on the other hand, is traveling off a very difficult loss to Dallas. They've lost a couple of players that just absolutely got hurt, and they're out for the season. Oakland is out of it. They're not going anywhere. And they're traveling 3,000 miles across the country to play Philadelphia in a game I'm sure they don't even care about playing. Tough spot to analyze.
Well, they lost their left tackle. Penn is out, and that hurts their offensive line play. But they're capable of getting points if they're healthy at the wide receiver position, and their running back is coming off a big game. And you never know with the Raiders what they're going to do, because the quarterback at any given time is capable of putting up points.
You're right. They are. Interesting ball games this week. Seattle goes down to Dallas, and Dallas, they're both in the hunt to get into the playoffs. So both are going to show up. Ezekiel Elliott is coming back off his suspension. We don't know exactly what kind of shape he's going to be in, although he's been working out on his own in Mexico. And Seattle, of course, was an absolute disaster last week against the Rams. That was a big play for you, one of the Rams last week, Hank. And Seattle, either they're embarrassed and they're going to come to play with everything they got, and they are dangerous. If they get their motivation back and Wilson has a good game, they're very dangerous. And Seattle has never been Dallas has never been a real good investment, backing them at home as a favorite. They absolutely have burned money doing in that position for a long, long time. And so that's a big game for both teams. It's an elimination game for both teams, I should say.
Well, Dallas is another team that loses their left tackle, and Bell is a terrible left tackle, a replacement. but they'll give him help. They'll go with probably multiple tight ends because Seattle does have a good front four. But that's a concern. The other thing is I'm not concerned about Ezekiel in terms of coming back. He's a running back, so it's not the same as Rodgers having to shake off rust. Running back coming back is fresh, and so he's going to have fresh legs, and he'll be raring to go, and he should have a big game. And that'll certainly help the quarterback for Dallas. So I think Dallas at home will be ready because they have to keep winning. It's critical for them. And Seattle right now has just got too many guys hurt on the defensive side of the ball.
Not to mention how bad their offensive line is. Wilson got sacked 7 times last week. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dallas's defense is going to get to him too.
Absolutely, they will. There's a lot of games that have no meaning, but one game that has meaning that going up the list here. Atlanta at New Orleans. This is a big game. They're the 3 teams, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Carolina, fighting for position in that division.
Atlanta has got some real problems right now. And I think it starts with the quarterback, who looks like he's off his game for some reason. He's not accurate with his passes. They ran the ball extremely well last week, but, the key with New Orleans is they've got 2 Pro Bowl running backs. That hasn't happened since 1975. 2 Pro Bowl running backs on the same team. And remember, the main guy who got hurt the first play of the game, in the game that was played in Atlanta. But he's healthy now. And the other situation with New Orleans is that they've got 2 good young cornerbacks, and New Orleans does, and they can get pressure on Matty Ice. And I think if they get ahead in the game, it'll force Atlanta to get out of their running game. And I think that's going to be the key. New Orleans at home this year has got a good spread record, and Atlanta on the road has been so-so all year. But just coming off that game, short week for them, it's not a good situation.
No, you're right. Carolina is at home 10-point favorite over Tampa Bay. Winston looked good the other night. He was probably one of the best games he's played all year. But going to Carolina is not easy. But Carolina has issues as well. Well,
they lost one of their linebackers suspended this week, so he got the suspension lifted for the second week, so he's only going to be out for this game. But Carolina is playing very well right now. But this is a situation where they've got to keep people healthy, and a win at home is just good enough. They don't have to win by a lot of points, and so I don't trust that game so much.
The Rams, coming off the very big win over Seattle, and that game was over in the first 5 minutes. and they're traveling cross country to play Tennessee. And Tennessee has been a huge disappointment this year. Marcus Mariota, the coaching staff, everything's in question right now with this team. Big game for both teams. Rams want to keep winning. They want to make sure that they keep winning, and hopefully they're hoping Seattle keeps losing. Tennessee, of course, is fighting for a playoff spot. Jaguars have already won the division, but Tennessee is in the mix to get a wild card. But they have really played poorly for quite a while now.
5-1 against the spread at home, Tennessee. I think the Rams are coming off a huge win, and if there's ever a letdown situation, this is it. Very wary about the situation for this game. So, traveling east, it's a time zone change, and although they're playing extremely well, their defense is playing great right now, and their secondary is playing very well. They've got a couple of real solid corners, and if they can get pressure on Mariota, it could be a long day for Tennessee. But Tennessee, like I said, has played much better at home this year.
Yes, they have. The Rams have been so special this year. I mean, what a turnaround for this team. It's been absolutely remarkable. But this is a tough spot for them. Coming off that big division rivalry with Seattle, the big win, the traveling east, Tennessee coming off these losses on the West Coast against Arizona, and it's been a rough ride for them. This is a huge letdown spot and huge motivational spot for Tennessee, and I agree with you. I think the right side of this game is Tennessee, but you have to kind of choke when you make the play because they've been playing so poorly, and you're playing against a Ram team that's absolutely red hot. It really is going to depend on if the Rams can come in there with the same physical and mental attitude, and I don't think they can. Another game that right above it on the charts here, the Chargers are heading east, and they got a little extra rest coming off the game they lost at Kansas City, and they looked absolutely horrible in that game. Phillip Rivers just doesn't step up in those big games, but he does beat teams like this. The Jets lost McCown, who was probably, he's not, an A quarterback, but he has played hard. He played well this year. He broke a hand. They got Bryce Petty. I don't know about that, whether he's going to be an NFL quarterback or not. But the Chargers, either they're going to come in flat off that loss, the disappointment of it, or they're going to keep fighting for that wild card spot. They're a pretty sizable favorite here, 6.5 on the road.
I'm not interested in that game particularly. You never know with the Jets, defensively how they're going to perform. They have a lot of capability on defense, although their defensive end, who's their best defensive player, is not going to be playing. But they're an odd team, and you never know when they're going to surface. And the Chargers came away from that game with a couple of injuries, so they're not 100%. Difficult game, I think.
It is. Hank, any other spots you want to talk about? Any other games that you're interested in?
Yeah, Denver. I think Denver is playing well right now. Their defense, is going to be good, but they're running the ball extremely well. And the quarterback had a good game last week, and he might be playing with a little bit of confidence. And they're going up against a team that I think they can beat. That just because they're out of it doesn't mean they're not they're not playing right now. For some reason, they woke up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they Osweiler came in last week and played pretty good for them, and it was kind of the shock to everybody that he did, but he showed a little bit of the magic that he had a couple of years ago in a couple spots. I think the one game at the top we didn't talk about was Detroit and Cincinnati, and I don't see Cincinnati coming to play in this game at all. Do you?
I think they quit. And not only that, they've got so many injuries right now on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they have a healthy linebacker. So, and Detroit has beaten every team with a sub-500 record. This is a spot where you can count on Detroit.
Yeah, they do well against the teams that don't play so well. Hank's picks and my picks are available right now online at jimfeist.com, and we're looking forward to a big weekend. Hank, good luck again with your contest plays this week. You have a tremendous record in the Westgate, and you're right there in the money at this moment. You got 2 weeks to go, 10 more plays to make, 10 more picks. It's unbelievable that you had 3 pushes last week, which is probably a record out of 5 games, 3 pushes. But you have a great record, and good luck with that, because there's a, we know the $1 million prize at the top, but there's good money, in the top 20 or 30 spots. So go get them, and we'll talk to you again in a couple days.
I want to hit the top 5 if I can. Meanwhile, remember what I told you about the lane train. I hope you all got aboard, and the next South Florida team to watch out for is Butch Davis's FIU team, where you're getting some points. That's coming up, and South Florida Bowl teams are going to be representative.
You said that a couple of weeks ago, and you're dead right. I mean, he just came out, and he's auditioning all the time. You just knew he was gonna put up as many points as he could get. That's the way he is. Kind of like Steve Spurrier years ago when he was in college coach before he went to the pros for a short time. He used to run it up on everybody. Same type mentality.
Yeah, it was almost obnoxious. You felt bad for Coach Bowden, but Bowden had a smile on his face through it all. He must be a little bit of a masochist.
Hank, have a great day, and we'll talk to you in a couple days.
Okay, you too, Jim.